Innovation meets material science.
You might as well be walking on the sun.
Hey, Carnegie Mellon's got me doing a couple of things for innovation journal number 4. Let's start from the top. I have to define an innovation case study. I have to find one, review it, take some notes, sketch the process that the team uses, and then also find or think of different outcomes if we were to change to a different process. Okay, Google, innovation case study. That's not really what we're looking for. Let's take a step back and maybe just look at what a case study is. Wikipedia says that a case study is a in-depth, detailed explanation of a particular case or cases within a real-world context. So what I'm assuming that we need to do here is we need to take innovation, which we learned about in a prior video, and the case study, throw them together, and I'm just going to find an example of an innovative case study. And this is a perfect time for me to kind of geek out on one company that I think is super cool. It's called Citrine Informatics. They're located in like San Francisco area, and what they do is they use machine learning, or basically informatics, to come up with new molecular compounds for new materials. Take a look at plastics. So I have a Rubik's Cube here, and this is made out of specific types of plastics. Every single material has a different properties. Now, if I, example being, use this as my Alt MBA coin, I think this is made out of brass. Now this is cold, and it's heavy, and it's dense, and it might be conductive, I'm not actually sure. And then we have this plastic. There are two different materials. You can feel them, they're different properties. But there's so many different sections and properties and materials, it's really beneficial for us to be able to categorize them. So that's why we have the periodic table. And then we also will be able to have different properties that we can add in on them. So if we need something that would be able to conduct electricity, then we're probably going to go with the metal. Plastic, on the other hand, we want to be able to mold and create in various different forms and factors. And now what Citrine does is they're basically like a third-party R&D company. So if you're a company like 3M and you need to come up with a new alloy that will help you out with some specific project, instead of taking 3 years, you can just go to Citrine will run it through the system, and they'll be able to come up with a new alloy, or at least for a direction for you to look towards, expediting the process. They're making it super quick for R&D companies to come up with new materials. So I figured I would find a case study on them so I could teach you guys a little bit about material science, and I'll also tell you about an innovative case study that they are as a company within the material industry. The case study that I decided to choose was going to be the new class of thermoelectric materials was discovered. This caught my attention because I remember going in like chemistry class back in the day, and I found out that there was a specific family of metals that actually explode or light on fire when you put water on them. And something about that was like, oh my gosh, like that's insane. They're really going to be integral to coming up with new materials for the future of the world. Like you think sci-fi, you hear all this technology, well that's pretty much just understanding materials. And these guys do it better than anyone else. So I thought this was cool because this is actually a case study of them finding a new material family in the thermoelectric field. So I'm going to read through this case study, and I'm going to take some notes, and then afterwards I'm going to sketch out the process that they use, and I'll explain to you why they're innovative. The first time that machine learning has been used to suggest an experimentally viable new compound for characterization has hinted at promising chemistries. Like, wow. This is the future right here, guys. Guys, I just finished the case study. I'm going to jump into the sketch, and I'm going to show you kind of what the process that they take for this specific study. So Citrine as a whole is an informatics company. They need data. As we talked about earlier, Citrine works with research and development groups. So what would happen is an R&D group may come up and say, I need to work on a product. Now this product is going to need a specific type of material. Now, they might know what's in the realm of a periodic table or what's out there, but they realize that the specific properties that they're looking for aren't really in existence. Normally, is they would spend a lot of time, and they would also spend a lot of money, and they might come up with a couple of different options that they could test, which would be viable materials for them to use. That's not that great. So now let's take a look at the new process. So Citrine changed the industry because what they did is they took the same problem, We have a research and development group that needs a new material type. What they do now is they use machines and data. So they take data and they compiled a massive amount of data from various research groups, different institutions, and they've made what they call the Citrine platform. Now this platform is basically a massive log, like imagine an Excel sheet. Now this Excel sheet is going to allow an algorithm to run, and the algorithm is going to be pointing towards specific outcomes. And those outcomes are based off what they call to be descriptors. Now a descriptor could be something like a crystalline structure, just different properties or characteristics of materials. So in this case, the case study was looking for thermoelectric materials and actually found some outside of the RAM. So let's take a look. I'm actually going to show you some of the results that they had from a periodic table, and you'll actually see in this case some of the dots there up in the top right are the known in black, but the blue are the new ones, if I understood the case study correctly. What's nice about this is the time to get to new viable options is drastically diminished. For less time and less money, you can come up with more options. Realistically, the process is they have a problem, they look for a solution, and they get a list of options that would fit that need for the material. Now for my journal, I have to change or modify that process to get different outcomes. Now if the outcome in this case was the 25,000 different material types that would fit that specific descriptor list, then I would also state maybe they add some more descriptors in so they could narrow that focus so that the research and development team wouldn't have to go through those 25,000 options. They'd be able to say, okay, maybe we only have to go through 5,000, and that would save time and money. Okay guys, that was Citrine Informatics, and that was the innovation case study for my 4th journal with Carnegie Mellon. I'm in the Integrated Innovations of Products and Services degree. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting. If you guys have any suggestions or recommendations in different topics or businesses that you'd want me to go and analyze from a product capacity, please reach out. Put it in the comments or reach out to me. You can reach out on my email. It should be on my profile. But past that, just feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be continuing to put out more videos. And I thank you guys all for watching. Have a great rest of your day.